Well, industrial metals have surged as precious metals remain at an all-time high. It is a pivotal week featuring key Federal Reserve decisions. Investors are watching closely. But what does the future hold for these markets? Peter Maguire, who is the CEO of Trading.com here in Australia, joins me now. Peter, nice to see you. It is a shortened trading week, but boy, we've got a good lead in from global markets, don't we?
Absolutely, Nadine. I tell you what, shortened in Australia, but everywhere else it's full on, and it's been very dynamic over the last couple of days, as we've seen. And your lead in as far as industrial metals, we were tipping tin there at one stage, and it was at 34,000 a metric ton. It's now at about 56 or 57,000. That's just one example. Copper's through 13,000, zinc and aluminium both above 3,000. So very, very strong projected earnings for those four metals and associated companies that mine or distribute or use them. So it's going to be, again, I think a 26 super cycle year continues in the commodity space, and certainly very focused on industrial metals.
Yeah, so when we think about industrial metals, you can't help but also compare to what's happened with gold and with silver as well.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, that, when is it going to tap out, at least for a period of consolidation?
Gee, that's a good question. I tell you, you put your mind back to the event in Israel, going back to October of 2023. Gold was at $1,807, and now it's through 5,100. So that's very, very difficult. I mean, a year ago, silver was at $29, and now it's at what, 115, Nadine? I don't know when the tap out is, and when it does wash out, there'll certainly be, you might lose 10 or 15, 20% very quickly, but no one can guesstimate when that will be. And the overall momentum at the moment is one-way traffic, and that is up. And I think you'd have to be very, very brave to short the market at this point if you're retail. So, yeah, just hold on to your hat, because I think it's going to be a very, very volatile ride moving forward.
Well, you can add interest rate expectations in there as well. So the FOMC kicks off its two-day meeting today. So what are we expecting to come from this one?
Well, no change as far as Fed rate policy, Nadine, and I think that's pretty much the line in the sand. Headline CPI moderated to 2.7% year on year in December. Core CPI unchanged at 2.6. The focus also a little bit left of field of that is the four possible Fed choices as far as Fed chair. You've got Kevin Hassett, Kevin Warsh, Governor Christopher Waller, and of course Rick Ryder coming in late to the pack. So there could be a decision there over the next matter of weeks. You've also got US government shutdown looming, and people are certainly, that's very much front and stage from 30th of January, Chuck Schumer and his point of view. So it's going to be a very bumpy February, and I think that the US dollar, it's continuing that sell-off through 97, or it's about 97.03 or 4 at the moment. It was down under 97 at 96.80. So the overall momentum is soft, the US dollar, and that's been demonstrated across precious metals, as we know, and the currencies have had a zip to the upside. That yen's been a great trade over the last, couple of trading sessions, and Aussie's knocking on 70, so or 69.20 on the screen. So yeah, plenty of excitement in the currency space as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose we still have that talk, that market chatter about potential intervention when it comes to the yen by not just Japanese officials, but also perhaps being done in conjunction with the Fed. What credence do you give to that speculation? What does it mean for investors?
Well, I think it could. First off, I think we've got to see it back to 158, 159, 160, knocking on that handle. Currently at 154, that I think a little bit of that heat has been taken out because we've seen the market react. You've got a 30-year at 360, 3.61, and you've got a 10-year at 2.23. So we've seen big moves across the bond market. That's the Japanese bond market. Yes, you could see BOJ intervene, but again, have to be closer to that 160 handle. You might, as we've Chris Weston was just saying, as far as New York Fed, could be a little bit of move there, but I want to see what happens with that US dollar. It's in a structural softness, or the pattern at the moment is certainly softer, not stronger. and that may take a little bit further heat out of their positioning as far as BOJ intervention, Nadine.
Well, that's obviously one that we will continue to watch alongside market participants. Peter,
Yeah.
the S&P ASX 200, so our local market here, obviously it's got those tailwinds given our exposure to the metals complex, 8,955. You know, pretty solid gains today. That would be a psychological
Absolutely.
level breached if it gets up past 9,000. Any chance of that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know whether it'll get there today, but I think it'll be there by probably tomorrow or Thursday. We had a very strong move over the last couple of days as far as Korea and Japan as well, and China's moving quite well. So yeah, 9,000 is very much on our radar, and that's probably the positioning at the moment. Stronger Aussie as well. You're punching that 69, 69 and a half, and maybe a 70. So you might have 70 for the Aussie, and you might have 9,000 for the ASX 200 all this week, Nadine.